Okay, well, Merry Christmas. Just kidding. I mean, we're in perspectives, but we're doing a special Christmas episode in perspectives. And I'm Bryce Vaught. Today, I am blessed to be joined by my partner in the adult ministry team, Emily D'Angelo. So
Merry
welcome.
Christmas.
Yeah,
Yes.
Merry Christmas. This is one of my favorite seasons of life. Before we get into the topic, which the topic will be keeping Christ in Christmas, I've got a few quick lightning round questions just concerning Christmas that I'll give you a chance to think about on the spot. Have not been asked these before.
Okay.
So here we go. First is, what is your favorite Christmas hymn? Favorite Christmas hymn?
O come, Emmanuel.
Okay, a good one. I like that one as well. My answer thinking through these was Joyful, Joyful, We Adore Thee. I really like that one.
And then more modern hymn, I'd say Go Tell It on the Mountain.
Okay,
I
nice.
love that one.
Cool.
Bruce Coburn's version.
Oh, nice. I'm not familiar with that one, so I'll have to check it out. All right, second question. What is your favorite Christmas treat or dessert that maybe you only have this time a year?
I think Kentucky pies.
What
it's
is
a
that?
family tradition. It's a custard
Okay.
pie, little mini pie,
All right.
made with Kentucky bourbon. And we love them.
Okay,
It's a
that does sound
family
good.
favorite.
Okay. I was thinking through this, and one of my favorites is my great-grandma Shelton would always make caramel corn this time of year, just homemade caramel corn. She would make all these bags and share it with everybody in the church. I mean, it's just kind of an annual tradition, and I always loved getting to snack on that just through the Christmas holidays. So that was
Has
mine.
anyone continued the tradition in
Yes,
your family?
yeah, my grandma and her sisters continue to make it every year, so it's something that's still a staple. Because we would used to go, to my great grandma's for Christmas Eve,
Okay.
and do a big family thing, and we'd always snack on it through the night, and so that's still going. So,
Good.
all right, next question. What is your favorite part about Orchard Hill Christmas?
Oh, probably the lobby love.
Yeah.
I love watching families take pictures and helping them with that. I love meeting new people. I love connecting
Yeah.
families. Sometimes on the weekend, one spouse will be serving in Pittsburgh and another will be on the worship team. And then finally, I put them together as a family. That's
Yeah.
always fun for
Cool.
me. I do love what we do in the program as well. I was going to
Yeah.
say the stars.
Yeah.
That's a popular
That's
thing.
a big popular answer for the Orchard Hill Christmas services. I think this is our third Christmas service or season that we've got to be part of. So, yeah, just getting to see people come through in and out. Get to see a lot of new faces. It's just a lot of fun. So,
I actually had a phone call with someone yesterday for new membership.
Oh, nice.
So she's really new here. And at the end of the the phone call, she said, "Hey, do y'all have anything like services going on for Orchard Hill?" And I said, "Oh, you are in for a treat."
Yeah, just a little thing.
A little thing.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and just getting to see people come in and who's never experienced before. So, a lot of fun. Last question. Are you more excited about getting presents for your kids or your new grandbaby?
Oh, great question. Definitely my grandbaby.
Yeah, I figured
my
so.
grandson. I
Yeah.
got lots of good ideas when I was visiting him last weekend. And he's coming out for Christmas,
Nice.
and we're going to celebrate the first week in December.
Oh, sweet.
And yeah, I'm excited about him sitting up and enjoying the gifts.
Yeah.
Corey is the gift buyer and
Okay.
giver in our family, my
Yeah.
husband, and he buys for all the kids. So
Cool.
I don't have to. He's a
Nice.
very thoughtful gift giver.
That's helpful.
But I know kiddos, babies, so he's letting me do the purchasing for John Carl.
Awesome. All right. Well, that'll be a lot of fun. That's
Yeah.
coming up soon.
Who are you
so.
most excited to buy for?
Probably Brittany. We never do a whole lot of big stuff, but yeah, it'll be, again, this is our third Christmas up here, so it'll just be us two. We won't really get a chance to go home, so just getting to be together and share some things together will be nice.
Good.
So, all right. Well, so again, we're entering into this topic of just keeping Christ in Christmas. So there's a few things we can get into, but maybe if I were to ask you, if you had to answer this in one short sentence, what does it mean to keep Christ in Christmas?
For me personally, is to not get caught up in the commercial aspect of the holiday of buying gifts,
Yeah.
making a perfect experience for my family,
Yeah.
but keeping my routine of spending time in God's Word and in prayer to keep my focus on the meaning of the holiday is his birth.
Yeah, which can be difficult. As you said, it's a busy season. There's a lot going on, a lot of good things, but then just a lot of possible disruptions to our calendar. So if you're like me, I kind of like rhythm and consistency. And so all of a sudden we're entering into a season where maybe you don't get that and you can feel kind of like you're drifting. So yeah, just staying focused. But I think this is an important question because I think here, especially in recent years, there might be more of a push to even just like, as you said, not get caught up in the commercial things, but also just kind of maybe to the extreme of trying to get out of celebrating Christmas altogether because you don't want to like send the wrong message or whatever. I mean, there's just a lot of things maybe we should consider what we need to push back against, but some things we need to, hold dear as believers as well, maybe reprioritize. So
I think also in our culture these days, there's this push to say happy holidays, and it's a simple but easy thing that believers can say to respond, Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Just because there is power in the name of Christ, and speaking it is what we're called to do, and it makes a difference.
Yeah, I agree. Just a few simple things that we can keep in mind as we're just going about our day, our weeks, and going through the busy season. Maybe as you even look at your own life, how has your approach to Christmas evolved through the years?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
It's somewhat more difficult these days as empty nesters because Corey and I have our routine, and our morning routine is reading God's Word and prayer. And he's typically camped out in the Psalms. I'm typically reading through the Bible in the course of the year. So in December, that puts me in Revelation.
Okay.
And in the past, we have halted our personal plan in the Advent season to do something meaningful with our kids.
Yeah.
And we've done Jesse Tree through the years, which takes you through the whole meta-narrative of Scripture, the big picture. And it was such a part of our routine that it really did cause us to reflect on the true meaning of the season. Well, now we're on our own again, and we're back to our own practices and routines. So I think we're going to have to be intentional to get back to maybe the Gospels or some kind of an Advent reading plan.
Yeah.
I did bring this, Ruth Chow Simmons.
Oh, cool.
It helped me last year. Not only is it a beautiful book, but it just focused me back into the season.
Yeah.
It's an invitation to prepare him room at Christmas and always.
Nice.
So I think small measures like this can help us during the holiday season, the Christmas season, to get ready for Christ, to just refocus our mind on him.
Yeah.
But I would say, in addition to what we're already doing, I'll still be reading Revelation in December to finish my plan, I'm sure.
Yeah. No, I think that's great insight. And to your point, I think how we approach Christmas, it just looks different in different seasons of life. And sometimes you might have to reevaluate, and what worked a few years ago might not work now, and just giving some intentional thought into how you approach this important season. Looking back in my own life, I grew up in a Christian home, have some really great Christian roots. But I think, as I mentioned, part of our family tradition is that we'd go to my great-grandma's, like my whole family was there, we'd play games. And I think even as a young child, teenager, I was much more excited about that stuff than I was really considering Jesus. Yeah, I think that's fairly normal just as a kid. You just get caught up in the fun, the excitement. But then as I started to really take my faith seriously for myself, I really started to feel guilty and almost wanted to reject the things that are more sentimental as a way to try to like be holy, I guess. And I don't necessarily think that's the right approach either. Because I think there are some beautiful things about traditions, just this time of season that we can use as a way to still consider who Jesus is and why it's important to consider his birth and his coming to us. So, as you think about our current culture, some commercial, maybe more common cultural traditions, what are some good things about our time of year or time of age that we're in? What are some possible dangers that can cause us to get tripped up and just knowing who Jesus is and missing this opportunity.
Right. I think that the opportunity to celebrate and gather is really a wonderful opportunity for believers, because I just am a firm advocate of hospitality in the home.
Yeah.
And the more reason to invite people to our home, I think it's just really valuable. And so it's an easy thing to come over for coffee and cookies
Right.
after an Orchard Hill service. It's an easy ask for people. And I think that is in stark contrast to the partying that my family did around the holidays. It was just an excuse to get together with neighbors that was completely devoid of talking about Christ and what we've learned about him from the service, a song that was our favorite song. And so I think that not to throw out the party, because I think that's important, the gathering, the community, being around the table, that's important, but to also be intentional to talk about what matters.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. That actually speaks into even how Christmas started, just even doing a little research myself into how Christmas even became a seasonal tradition. It started a lot earlier than I realized.
Okay.
Basically, when the Rome adopted Christianity as a state religion, typically around December 25th, there was a big festival or feast that took place to celebrate the winter solstice.
Okay.
And there would be some good things about that, like people would give to the poor in that season. But there would also be a lot of drinking, a lot of drunkenness, debauchery. And so those who were in the church said, hey, this is a great time to celebrate, a great time of year, but let's begin to view this in light of truth. And how can we Christianize this? And so they made it into a season where they celebrated Jesus' birth, because there wasn't really a time of year to do that.
Okay.
And so they started doing gift giving and like taking care of the poor and really making Christ the big center of that time of year. And it happened again like 336 AD, so a lot earlier than I realized. And that was actually really comforting, because I've met some people who said Christmas is just a pagan idea, so we don't need to celebrate it at all. But I think there is some benefit in saying, hey, there's some things in our culture that we need to reject. But there's also some things that our culture does that we can just redeem use as a way to bring people in to know who Jesus is.
That's right.
Yeah.
So was there ever a time when, we don't really know the time of year that Christ was born.
Yeah.
So this December 25th was in response to winter solstice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It was already kind of a built-in rhythm for the people of that time. So they just tried to Christianize it. So we don't really know when Jesus was born. Maybe more of a winter time, maybe in November. I've heard some speculation, but nobody really knows.
Okay.
And ultimately, it doesn't really matter, because the Bible doesn't tell us.
Right.
It doesn't give us a date. We're not commanded to celebrate his birthday on a specific date. But I do think it's important to reflect on and consider Jesus' coming. So as I say that, why should we reflect on Jesus' coming? Why does that matter?
I think it aligns with the practice of rehearsing the gospel to ourselves every single day, because it puts us in a place of humble gratitude of what he's done for us, everything that we couldn't do for ourselves.
Yeah.
It's almost a daily practice. It should be a daily practice for me, and I delight in that when it is. But it is a worldwide opportunity to practice what we believe and to rehearse what we believe. That the world was a dark place because of sin, and God had promised that he was going to send this Messiah into the dark world. And how many years of silence was there? 400?
Yeah.
400 years of silence. So imagine the darkness. Imagine the doubt, the worry, the wondering, the waiting, all of that. And then Christ was born, and he brought light into the world. He is the light of the world.
Yeah.
And to rehearse this for ourselves reminds us that of what we believe and why it matters. It gives us hope for now and also for a future.
Yeah.
And, it's interesting because as an adult, this is so important to do. We think that once we've heard the gospel, we live from that point on.
Yeah.
But it's a daily reminder that keeps us growing and trusting him.
Yeah.
And I remember going back to, how the holiday has kind of changed through the years. I remember at one point in our parenting, we decided to do a birthday cake for Jesus to really drive home this idea that he is born at Christmas. We're going to celebrate that, and how fun it was for the kids to.
Yeah.
And we do that here now at Orchard Hill with the Mommy Connection.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
We have a big birthday party, and we call it that,
Yeah.
not necessarily a Christmas party. We say it's a birthday party for
Yeah.
Jesus. And it brings us back to the meaning.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's great. I mean, it reemphasizes the point that this is a huge event, not just a huge event for this time of year. This is a huge event for all humanity for all time, that God has drawn near to us. Yes. It's an important time to think deeply about that because God has come, there are huge implications for ourselves, for the church, for the world. I was trying to think of why is it important? One, it just reminds us that God does fulfill his promises. He'd been making this promise to his people that he would send someone who would deliver them, who would establish this kingdom and set them free. And he fulfills that. He's not going to leave any promise undone. It also just reminds us that God is near and intimate with us, that he's intimate with our suffering. You think about even the circumstances that surrounded the day that Jesus was born. I mean, it was not an easy thing for Mary. They were traveling, they were alone, they were poor, probably ostracized because she was pregnant before being married. So there's just a lot of complications surrounding that, and yet God is near to them and has blessed them in the midst of that. And it also is just a reminder that God has become like us, that Jesus has taken on humanity, that he's not half man, half God. He is fully God and fully man. And as the writer of Hebrews says, that we now have a priest who can completely identify with us because he's taken on a human life, and he knows what it's like to be hungry and tired and deal with stress and pressures of life, and yet remain obedient to God. And he's worthy of remembering that.
One of my favorite names for Christ, for Jesus, is Emmanuel.
Yeah.
And I love it because it embodies this idea that God promised from the fall in the garden.
Yeah.
That he would be with us. It means God with us, Emmanuel. And that even when after Christ died on the cross, was resurrected and ascended to heaven, he promised that he would continue to be with us through his Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
And I just love this concept of his presence with us and his longing to be with us, because often we think we're longing for something. We're longing for, wow, this day is not as it should be. This season is not as it should be. Things are broken. Relationships are hurting. All this. We're longing for something. And he's longing to make things right with us.
Yeah.
Right? And his presence in many ways begins that process of making things right for us.
Yeah, which is so important, especially for those who are suffering in the midst of a Christmas season, because that, as joyful as this season can be for a lot of people, it can also be a season of just a lot of pain.
Right.
Those who are going through loss for the first time, or going through the first Christmas without someone they love,
Right.
Loss of a job. I mean, there's just a lot of tension and stress, just different factors that people are going through. And so they might not want to celebrate what they normally do, or might not want to participate in their normal traditions, but it's just a great reminder that ultimately it's not about that. It's about in our distress, our suffering, God has come close, and he's promised to always be close, and he's promised to one day be so close that the whole world has changed. Our whole experience has changed. And so just resetting our hope on that future day is really what it's all about. So,
and speaking of the future day, there will be disappointments on Christmas Day or in the Christmas season. And part of rehearsing the gospel is to say, you know what, my best day on earth pales in comparison to when Christ comes to make all things new. And it's going to be so much better than this, I can't even imagine
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That's where we place our hope.
Yeah, I love that point, because I think too we can hear this idea of like keeping Christ in Christmas, and so we can have this picture. Well, we're going to read the Bible story, and everybody's going to sit and listen, and there's going to be kind of this great family moment. But as you said, it doesn't always work out that way. I mean, kids can get upset, not get the gift they want, and it just fights happen, whatever. And just remembering even in that moment, the Christmas message still applies. Like this life is still messy, it's still broken, but the truth is that God has come near, God is with us, and he's going to be with us forever.
That's right.
So, well, cool. What's maybe something that we can do as individuals? You mentioned a few already. What's something that maybe you've most enjoyed in the past that has really helped you just stay centered on who Jesus is throughout a busy Christmas season?
Well, one of the things I love about Christmas season is getting Christmas cards in the mail with pictures and letters.
Yeah.
And those are maybe few and far between anymore because people just send electric or digital.
Yeah.
Christmas greetings, but I still find the practice of collecting those and putting them in a basket and praying specifically for those family members. And it just keeps us connected across the miles and, through the seasons of life that we haven't seen some of our loved ones for a long time.
Yeah.
Because we're distanced now. So that's one of the things that I think we'll still do, even empty nesters. I mean, this was always a practice for our children. And in doing that, we're practicing some gratitude. We're thanking the Lord for these people and for how he's been at work in their lives. We're praying for them. And it's been a really meaningful thing to do in the season.
Yeah. Well, and that's just such a simple way to even practice the gospel, but also, again, just keep Christ at the center of this season, because it's something that people still do. So you'll still get a few in the mail, and just taking the time to thank God for them, to pray for them. I love that.
Right. And even sending them a message, maybe digitally. Hey, I got your Christmas card. This is how I prayed for you today. That's another way of reaching out beyond myself to keep Christ as the focus.
Yeah. Yeah, I think maybe one recommendation I might have for families and people is just to embrace. Obviously, there is a potential danger of being too busy and having too many things, too many parties, all these things going on. But to remember that this is just a season, kind of go into it saying, hey, I'm going to embrace some opportunities to show up to parties, to invite people into my home. And that is a way of keeping Christ at the center of Christmas, is you're again, practicing hospitality. You're giving gifts and just sharing love. And so it might be to where you have some daily rhythms that can help keep you, keep mentally at peace and those things, but just embracing the busyness, saying, hey, this is going to be a busy season, and I'm going to embrace it and make the most of it. I'm going to invite people to church with me. I'm going to invite people into my home. And when there's a party, I'm going to try to be there just to love well and to show Jesus to those who need it. So just to embrace the season, knowing that ultimately there is a hope and an eternal purpose, and that God's going to use it.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
So when you're thinking about this particular Christmas, and you're thinking about the new friends that you and Brittany have made here at Orchard Hill, you two aren't the only ones that are here away from your families. So do you have any ideas of how to connect with those, maybe neighbors or friends, or what?
Yeah,
What does that
something
look like
that's
for y'all?
been on my heart this just going into this season is really being more intentional with our neighbors in our neighborhood. We've made some inroads to get to know people around us, but just having some time to intentionally invite them to Christmas services. I think, yes, there might be an opportunity to have people in our home, but also being here at Christmas service, we don't have as many opportunities.
Right.
So maybe even just inviting people to join us at a Christmas service can be a great way. I did a wedding for a couple a while back and really got to know some of the family, just connected well with some of the family friends at the reception. And we got to talking about church, and I'm like, man, this this would be a great family to follow back up with and say, hey, would you join us for a Christmas season? Maybe we could do dinner afterwards and just catch up. So just using those opportunities to be intentional and not missing the moment. So.
In some ways, working for the church is an easy opportunity, right? So I got to sit on an airplane on the way to Denver last week with someone, and I got to know her, and she lives in the South Hills.
Okay.
We were chatting for a while, and she let me know that her boyfriend had invited her to start reading the Bible.
Okay.
So we got to talking about really meaningful stuff on the trip. And then within the conversation, she said, so where do you go to church? And I told her Orchard Hill, and I told her about Strip District and Bridgeville, which is closer to home. She said, you know what? I think it's time for me to go to church.
Cool.
And so I happened to have a card for the women's brunch.
Yeah.
So I gave it to her because I knew it would lead her to our website, because she clicks on that, it leads her to the website. And, after our 4-hour flight or whatever, at the end, she was like, hey, thanks for actually inviting me to your church.
Yeah.
And I thought the power of invitation is huge in that. She may or may not come. But the fact that, the conversation led to an invitation encouraged me to not forget to do that, right? Yeah. If I'm out at a restaurant, let me not forget to invite people to church. I don't want to be there, no.
Yeah.
Give them the invitation and hope that they come.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, again, a powerful way to keep Christ at the center, is just keep inviting and remembering that God is at work in this season. As much as he was in the day that Jesus was born, he's still coming near to people, drawing them to himself, and just praying for a great holiday season here at Orchard Hill. The families that are part of Orchard Hill, just really looking forward to a great time. So any final thoughts as we wrap up?
One final thought too is, I think another way of keeping Christ center at Christmas is serving together. Because I think that the holiday could become very egocentric. What's in it for me? What do I get out of it? I want to go to, the best shows, the best opportunities, but how can we serve our community?
Yeah.
And, whether you're serving out in the community or here at Orchard Hill, I think it really does keep Christ as a center. I know that there are a lot of families here that they'll be here for most of the services, but they're only attending one.
Right.
But they're serving in Kidsburg or in the lobby or as ushers or parking team. And I think that's important because at a very early age, for when we're training our children to serve, gets us outside of ourselves, thinking of others. But also in my season of life, your season of life, serving others keeps us focused on the whole meaning of the holiday.
Yeah, yeah. And specifically, probably even serving in the context of a church community too. It's, if we really want to keep Christ at the center, really that's prioritizing community. I mean, because that's where God dwells, is in the midst of his people.
That's right.
And so if maybe you're in a season where you haven't really made church a priority or a commitment, you're saying, hey, I want to approach this season differently. One of the best ways you can do that, just to start, is just to attend service and get to know God through his people. So we'd love for people to consider that as we approach Christmas services, and love to see people here. So
where can people find when our services are?
So they should be they'll be online for sure if they're not already. So we're recording this around Christmas season 2025. So I know Christmas services start on that Friday, December 19th, and we'll go through Christmas Eve. So if you're getting to listen to this before those Christmas services kick off, just you can go to the website, check out the calendar, events, and schedules, and find a time to join and invite somebody to be with you. So.
Because we know that it's not just Christmas Eve. It's the whole week of Christmas, the same service, about 14 services.
Yeah.
Not everyone always knows that.
Yes.
So it's a nice surprise to be able to share that.
Yeah, because Christmas Eve can get really busy with tradition. So even the weekend before, it's a great opportunity to invite somebody out, do dinner with them, share the gospel, and keep Christ in Christmas.
That's right. Thank you, Bryce.
Yeah. All right. Thanks again, Emily, for joining us. Thank you for tuning in. If you've enjoyed this conversation, be sure to check out all our other content on Orchard Hill Plus, on our church YouTube page. We have conversations covering a wide range of topics. And if you found this conversation inspiring, or maybe you have something else to add, please comment, share how you have found to keep Christ in Christmas in your own personal life and your family. We'd love to hear from you. And thanks again for joining us. We'll see you next time.